And this is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio, RallyPoint.com. We're down at Manhattan College today in Riverdale, New York. Have a chance to talk with Marine Corps veteran Jonathon Hoogerhyde. Jonathon, great to see you.
Great to meet you as well, Ken. Thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure. Now, first off, tell us a little bit about where you're from and your experience in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Sure. Well, I grew up in the Seattle area, a little town called Bothell, Washington. Got my first undergrad in Oregon State University, and I've, since leaving the Marine Corps, now progressed to getting a second bachelor's here at Manhattan College, and that's almost complete.
That's it. Now, I got to ask you, you were in a special area of the Marine Corps in artillery.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about that.
So my time with the Marine Corps, I was an artillery officer. So I went to my initial training as a basic officer in Quantico, Virginia, and then my MOS school was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. From there,
hey, I was out there last fall, and they mentioned the Marine Corps does their training and artillery out there.
Yeah, it's a small group of Marines, but it's a good group, and go on to do great things all over the Marine Corps. So I had the joy of being stationed at Hawaii, on Oahu, and traveling around the Pacific in my time on active duty. So. Well,
that's great. Thank you for your service. Now tell us a little bit about it. It's a bit of a change coming to New York City, coming to Riverdale and Manhattan College. Tell us a little bit about your transition and then starting up on the engineering program here.
Well, it's certainly a long road to where I am today. I actually separated back in 2014 from active duty and did a little bit of job hopping before I found myself here in New York City. Really wasn't quite getting into the career field that I wanted to work in, so I went back to school for engineering and wanted to work in the electrical engineering field, and that's what I'm almost completed with here.
Well, that's great. Now, if you would tell us a little bit about your coursework in electrical engineering, that's a very important field of engineering.
Absolutely, and there's definitely a growing need for that in the highly technical world that we're in today. So what I've been focusing my electives on is more of what you'd call embedded system design, where you have a little bit of programming, a little bit of hardware design, and you work across both domains, tying them together. Actually very excited. I managed to get my first job lined up for after graduation. I'll be working with BAE Systems from Long Island, and I'll be working on their RF division, designing friend or foe transponders for military aircraft. So very excited for that opportunity.
Wow, that's such an important field. You know, I had a chance to do some interviews about how the military and the Army is working on cyber defense. And that is such an important thing, to be able to keep orders from being compromised and making sure you're getting the right data sent to the military where they need it. Tell us a little bit about what are some of the aspects of the engineering program here at Manhattan? Some of the courses. What are some of the key things that you studied? Imagine there's a lot of challenges.
Yeah, Manhattan is pretty robust academically. My junior year of classes was definitely pretty intense, and for the best. There's some great instructors here that really make sure that you get a granular understanding of the physical components, how everything works together, circuit design, power basics, and all of these things. One of the things that really attracted me to this university in particular was a lot of the electives focus on kind of that embedded design capability, robotics-based classes, image processing, as well as some of the more strenuous hardware design classes. So
very good. Well, robotics is just taking off. We see it everywhere. We hear about factories. We hear from some experts that you don't want to apply artificial intelligence or robotics to every aspect of an operation. You want to keep the human element involved. Why is that important? Is that something that's come up in your classes?
So it's definitely something that has come across my life a number of different ways. So on the professional Marine Corps side with artillery, we deal a lot with fire support. We deal with knowing about drones and aircraft and things of that nature. So employing drones and robotics, you always have to have a human in the loop. One, because the equipment can malfunction in a number of different ways, and retaining positive control of that highly sensitive piece of gear is very important in protecting American superiority in technology. But two, most importantly, those shoot, don't shoot scenarios is where it's really most essential. The United States, along with a number of other UN NATO compact countries, have agreed that it's absolutely essential to always have a human in the loop whenever potentially lethal force is applied.
Well, that is so well said. Common sense and human judgment, there's still no substitute for that. And having experienced people like yourself involved and making those decisions is so vital, and why the U.S. military and its allies really have the best opportunity. Hey, tell us a little bit about what did you learn in the Marine Corps that is helping you in your engineering studies?
I think there's so much. One of the things that obviously the leadership skills that I developed as an officer in the Marine Corps, I've been able to mentor and grow a lot of college students and expose them to some bigger ideas than they might have otherwise had in just a sterile classroom environment. But the other thing that's really been a huge asset for me that I take away from my time in the Marine Corps is the ability to apply the initiative and freedom that I now have in the academic environment to pursue my interest. I can follow it with a passion, the same passion that the Marine Corps cultivates in everyone who walks on those yellow footprints.
Absolutely, and we're trying to do some work on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, why is engineering a good STEM area for high school students, college students to try to get involved with?
So this is something I wish I had had more of an opportunity with in high school or junior high for myself, and I'm really encouraged to see that it's much more prevalent now. STEM is, as you mentioned already, a huge growing field, and it's unique in that engineering, to me, represents the opportunity to combine technical knowledge, problem-solving skills, and creativity. You can really be artistic in how you design things and come up with an invention that's going to better humanity, better the United States, and the world around you. So I think it's very exciting discipline.
Very good, very well said. Now, just to wrap up, what's the best thing about being a Manhattan College Jasper?
Boy, I gotta say, a lot of the food in the area is pretty great. There's definitely restaurants from all around the world here in New York City, and it's got to be some of the best dining in the world.
Well, Jonathon Hoogerhyde, veteran of the United States Marine Corps, great to meet you and chat a little bit about what you've accomplished in the Marines, and then as an engineering student at Manhattan College and a future staffer at BAE. You got a great future. Great to meet you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, and best of luck with all of your future interviews.
Absolutely, and really best wishes from everybody at the American Legion and RallyPoint.com. Hey, from Manhattan College in Riverdale, New York, services, this is Ken Kraetzer.